Hello, my crafty friends. Welcome to Jana's Crochet Journey. Today is Friday, February 10th, 2023. Yay, it's Friday. Better weather than it was the other day. A little windy today, but it's rainy and pretty much the snow has just about melted here in Western New York, at least where I am. And I have two finished objects and two WIPs that I'll show today that I did a little work on. I may see the grandson this weekend or next weekend, not sure. So I finished that blanket. Took a couple shortcuts, but you know, it's fine. And so when I see him, I want to give the blanket, so it wouldn't be here, so I wanted to do the video. Yeah, I think I'll just jump right into it. I know someone had mentioned if your videos aren't long enough, they get turned into shorts. Ugh, better not. I'm not a fan of watching those. I don't know. All right, so first thing, we'll do the baby blanket. I did not write down the particular brands this time around, but I can tell you that the Crafter's Secret is the cream. I'm not sure if it was Red Heart was the light sage and Big Twist was the burnt orange. I could look it up if somebody really wanted to know. I used a 6mm hook. I started out with Bag O' Days something. I'd have to put that in there too. And I wasn't a fan. I was like, there's no way I'm doing all these little bobbles the whole blanket. So then I was just doing my own thing between a single, a half, and a double, changing it however I felt like it that row, change the colors however I felt like it. And okay, so these are the little bobbles I was chatting about. Yeah, it looks great, gives it texture, but there was no way this girl was doing that pattern this whole blanket. No. So yeah, this was a whole skein. A little short because I tried another pattern. If you've watched previously, I got frustrated and started over. Okay, so then there's the burnt orange. Let me get this up here. And then I did the cream, and I only had one skein of the cream, so I needed to spread it out. So that's why there's just little splashes of it. Then in the middle, I didn't do any bumpies at all. Tried to keep it pretty close. Now, here's where a little bit of change came in. This is not a whole skein, as we can tell. I did my repeat, and then I started chugging along, and I knew I was going to be going this weekend or next weekend, so I was just like, frig it. I did a couple rows, fastened off, and then I had enough burnt orange to just do single row border, and I probably should have only chained one in the corner instead of chaining two. And of course, as I mentioned, my tension in my first row, I went up one hook size in this blanket, and still, when you fold it together, it doesn't match up even. So I guess I should have went up 2 hook sizes. I think it's the whole excitement of starting a new pattern that I'm like, blah, and then, you know. So when you fold it, it's not quite even, but if you jiggle it around a little bit, it's fine. He's not going to care. So, and did not measure, but I've shrunk down to 5'7", and I can put my arms all the way out. And then, so that's, boop. And y'all know me, I don't measure worth of beans. So, fold it, make it be a little easier to see. All right, so there we go. That's in 4s. And that will be going to my grandson. And he'll be able to use that toddler on up to probably kindergarten, if not as a lap blanket when he even gets a little older, as long as the yarn holds out. All right, next finished object. I was working on the Amigurumi Ballerina Kitten, and I just finished it this morning. This pattern is by Grayson Yarn. She said to use a 3.25 hook. It's too small, so I did a 4. And I don't know, maybe it really is that small in the picture, but I don't know if mine's even smaller. But so for the body, I used the Tivoli XL in gray. This will go in my scrap basket out there. Color 011. And for the outfit, I used Premier Basic in the color fuchsia. Lots of that left. That won't go out in the scrapped. Same with this baby blanket. The burnt orange and a teeny tiny cream will go in scrap, but the sage, I still have a lot left, so that'll go back on the shelf because I really don't have a lot of green. I mean, in like a 4 acrylic, I have some of this, but these are like kind of neon, so I think those would be kind of cool in the same project together. But yeah, so I finished this morning. Here she is. Like I mentioned, I don't know what size safety eyes these are. I just had them, and they have the pink. I had a safety nose instead of doing how they suggested. She also said she sewed on the headband. No. I just wrapped it around, tied it, which she also said she did after. Just wrapped it around and did a bow. And then you put the arms on, and then you make the strap and then sew that on. Love the little tutu-y ballerina. And then she looks kind of bull-legged when she's standing there, but it does help her sit by herself. So this will be a gift for a little girl in April. So she'll probably be on a shelf or something, I'm not sure. And then you crochet the chain, attach it, make the bow, attach it, get these all set up, and then you sew the legs on. So that's what I did this morning, was I sewed the straps on, did her little straps and bows, and there she is. Because I was just going to show her, you know, how I had her, and then as I was watching some videos this morning and listening to some music, I was like, let me just go ahead and finish her. So yay, she's done. And for me, who is not very experienced with Amis, and appliques are like, ugh, no. This is good. So I do have, I think, 2 more from Grace and Yarn that I will probably go ahead and do, just not at the moment, but definitely something that I will try again because I could actually do it. So if you want to try an Ami, that's not a bad one, honestly. I just had to learn what an invisible decrease was, and you know, when you look up on YouTube, you can find anything. All right, then I started my make-along. Christy from Crochet Creations by Christy started last year, Navajo Indian Afghan, and you get like diamonds in it. So everybody was, you know, like on board and using our scraps like she started to. So I showed my blue last video that I was doing my 5 setup rows with. Pattern said back loop only. Not a fan of that either. So I just did 5 rows of single crochets first. And I still have some stitch markers because I was trying to keep count, because you do, well, I chose to do the 245 chains. So this blanket is going to be quite the good size, but it's like mosaic, which I love, which I wanted to start a mosaic, maybe not in this size, but I'm all right with it because this is going to be a year-long project. This is something to do when, you know, you have a few minutes of just chill. So the only thing is, when I went to put on my first row, I realized that I needed the row below it to be in back loops, because when you do the double crochet, you're going down a row and grabbing that front loop. So my first green row, which is the green from the baby blanket, I had a ball left over from a previous skein. So I had to do a 6th row of single crochet, but in back loop only. So next time, that 5th row, if you don't want to do back loop, make that one your back loop. Otherwise, you're going to be fudging along, and I didn't want any mishaps. Then I started. So this is only 2 rows of the pattern. You can see I'm doing the points of the diamond is in progress. So it's not much, but I just wanted to show that, you know, I did start it. It's going to be a good size. And this is right by my chair in the living room with a little basket of the smaller scraps that I will get through first. I do have a tote in here of scraps, but they're not really scraps. They're good size skeins. So that just means I have to work a little harder on projects so I have more scraps. All right, then last thing for today as far as projects go, luck of the draw number 7 is going on with Nans Knots week 2. She draws the numbers on Thursdays, and I realized that last night when I was at work and I was watching or listening to one of my YouTube friends showing hers, and I was like, oh crap. So I came home, watched the video, pulled up my number of, well, my skein that matched the number, and got that almost done last night before I went to bed. So I'm using different shades of purple, and white is my main color. Now this week, the color that was drawn matched my Premier Basic purple. And in the last video, I showed all my shades, And I have two colors that have the same name but different brand, so they're actually different shades, which is perfect. So this is how I am looking so far. Those are my two shades of purple. So I did 3 rows of my base, 3 rows of last week's color. Now the pattern that I'm using is a 2-row repeat, so I wanted to have at least 3 rows of my color. So then that 4th row, I'm just doing 1 row to break it up. So now I have my 3 rows from yesterday, 1 row of white, and now I will wait till next week. And a lot of people are doing the window pattern, which would be 6 rows. I'm doing 4, but it's, you know, manageable for me. And I wanted to do the shell, so this is, you know, not too big. And I did go up to a 7 on my chain row, using a 6 for the pattern. And we'll see. Same thing with the Navajo. I used a 7 for my chaining row, and then I'm doing a 6 for the pattern. For the luck of the draw, I am using Creative Grandma Stitch of the Week number 79. And this is called the Quick and Easy Shell Stitch. And let's see, she tells you what the repeat is, but of course, multiple of 6 plus 2. I have it written down in the living room what mine was to get that size. So maybe next week I'll say it again. I don't want to repeat myself video after video, because then you're all going to get sick and tired of hearing me and just skip right through. So in saying that I have 2 finished objects, luck of the draw is weekly. The Navajo is whenever I feel like it with the scraps. I am just like, what the heck am I going to do now? So I still have that wavy blanket with the puzzle yarn in the living room. So I could do that. We all know we have WIPs, but if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling it. I don't want to start another Amigurumi. So normally I find a pattern first that I want to do and then pick the yarn. So I'm thinking that I may pick the yarn that I want to work with that I've had for a while and then find a pattern. But I'm not really sure. Like, this is, you know, I have my cakes that I was sitting in front of before. I have my acrylics. This shelf is cotton. Then in the closet in this room, I have my 5 bulky, and then my 7s and blanket yarn are somewhere else. So I'm not really, I mean, I know I need to do a blanket out of blanket yarn for a Christmas gift, but I don't want to start that yet. I'm not feeling that. So I don't know. I'm going to have to look through, see what yarns caught my eye that I bought, and then try to find a pattern. It's just some things I bought that I really wanted to use. When they say lay flat to dry, it's such a turn off. But anyways, I don't want to drag this out. I hope y'all have a nice weekend, and as long as I'm not working, it's a good weekend. And, you know, like, share, comment if you want to, and have fun. We'll see you next time. Bye.